You live, you do that, right? Positive
Yes.
vibration to everybody. This is
This is news, facts, and comments in conjunction with Major TV. Welcome, welcome to the program, you all. Oh, forgive that horrible introduction Major just laid out for us.
you look
Welcome,
at
you all.
still face, look at still face. You didn't want to say anything.
Well, that's okay. Thank you all for joining us. Everyone that's in the chat, do us a favor and hit the thumbs up button and share with your family, friends, and neighbor. We have a very important discussion to have tonight. Go ahead, Major. Take it away.
Hey, I just want to apologize for my intro, but I was waiting on the queen to do the intro, but looked like she was still facing wondering what I'm going to do. We had some technical issue with our audio and Donald Trump picture. I kept arguing to take down. I'm going to say positive vibrations and good day to everybody. Shalom, sister. How you doing? What's going on?
I can't complain, man. I'm thanking you for inviting me to have this conversation about Project 2025. Yes, sir. Very important.
Yeah, because it ran across me a couple of times by way of me just keep my eyes and ears to news because even though I know a lot of stuff in news is fabricated or not really as true, I always kind of like pay attention because it's when you're not paying attention that you get caught off guard. So when I heard about I don't know a few weeks ago, and I've been asking people, you heard about Project 25? Once I was hearing what it was about, what have you. I told you I shared the video from the white guy, both from the fifth column, break it down, right? And when he broke it down, that's not what they getting clear. And I heard Representative Crockett talk about it, other people, right? That's what made me dig into it. And I'm like, have you heard about it? You like, yeah. I said, well, let's talk about it because a lot of time there is so many narratives, rightfully so in our community that need to be addressed. But a lot of times, we don't understand that the younger generation, in America, particularly whites, are pushing certain conservative, screen conservative agendas, right? And they have the support of the old as well. And it's everyday people that we see every day. We work with, we may know, or maybe colleagues with that support Project 25, 2025. And I know you said you wanted to share a video talking about it instead of us just talking about. Let's hear from people that did a lot of research dissecting. And by the way, this 700 is 900 pages. It's very, very large. It covers a lot, and it's really trying to see the power from the people and put it in one person's hand with the president and whatnot. And of course, Trump spearheading a lot of that. But Cody said it go longer than that. So I'm gonna let Cody start with presentation of this video how it broke down.
Yeah, so family, I came across this video, and this gentleman did a very good job of just consolidating all the information that's in Project 2025, along with the mandate for leadership that's got everyone up in arms about. So we're going to go ahead and listen to what he has to say, how he breaks it down. And Major, you could stop me at any point in the video, and we can have a discussion, as we kind of analyze this together.
Have you heard about Project 2025? Hey, it's Dan Zimmerman and welcome back to Illustrate to Educate. In this video, we'll dive into everything you need to know about Project 2025, including 5 criticisms. Remember, if you disagree with Project 2025 or its criticisms, please don't dislike the video, but instead respectfully comment your thoughts below. Project 2025, led by the Heritage Foundation, is a comprehensive initiative designed to prepare for a potential conservative administration starting in January 2025. It is structured around 4 main pillars: policy development, personnel recruitment, training, and strategic planning for the early days of the new administration. Here's a more detailed breakdown of each component. First, let's look at the policy agenda. The Conservative Promise is a detailed policy guide that provides specific recommendations for governing major federal agencies. The guide encompasses conservative solutions to various issues, including economic policies, healthcare, education, and national security. It is intended to serve as a blueprint for the next conservative administration, ensuring that key conservative values and strategies are implemented effectively from the outset. The second pillar is the personnel database. Project 2025 includes a comprehensive personnel database aimed at identifying and vetting potential appointees for various positions within the federal government. This database seeks to ensure that a future conservative administration has a pool of qualified, ideologically aligned individuals ready to fill key roles. The recruitment efforts span across different sectors and backgrounds, targeting experienced professionals who can execute the administration's agenda efficiently. The third part is the training through the Presidential Administration Academy. To prepare the identified personnel for their roles, Project 2025 has established the Presidential Administration Academy. This academy offers a range of training programs including workshops, seminars, online courses, and mentorship from former administration officials. The training is designed to equip future administrators with the necessary skills and knowledge to implement conservative policies effectively. Fourth is the 180-day playbook. The 180-day playbook is a strategic document outlining the immediate actions to be taken by the new administration within the first 180 days. This playbook is crafted to enable swift policy reversals and the implementation of conservative priorities, ensuring a smooth and impactful start. It includes specific actions for various departments and agencies, focusing on undoing the policies of the previous administration and setting the stage for long-term conservative governance. Now let's talk about the coalition and organizational structure. Project 2025 is supported by a coalition of over 100 conservative organizations, including think tanks, advocacy groups, and academic institutions. This broad coalition brings together diverse expertise and resources to support the project's goals. Notable participants include former officials from the Trump administration who contribute their experience and insights to the project. There are specific policy focus areas in Project 2025. Project 2025 proposes significant changes to federal policies on reproductive health. These include removing references to abortion from federal laws and regulations, reversing the approval of abortion pills, and defunding clinics that provide abortion or contraception services. The initiative also aims to reinstate the Comstock Act to ban mail-order abortions and reshape Medicaid to avoid funding reproductive health care services that include abortion. Another focus area is cultural and social issues. The project emphasizes the restoration of traditional family values and religious principles. This includes opposing policies perceived as supporting cultural Marxism and promoting a pro-life agenda. It advocates for policies that support the nuclear family, religious liberty, and traditional gender roles. There's also the leadership of Project 2025, which is directed by Paul Dans, a former chief of staff at the Office of Personnel Management during the Trump administration, with Spencer Sherteen serving as associate director. Both bring extensive experience from their previous roles in government, contributing to the strategic planning and execution of the project. So what are the criticisms of Project 2025? Project 2025 has sparked significant criticism from various sources. Critics argue.
So, Major, do you want me to let him tell us what the critics are saying, or do you want to go ahead and chime in on how you?
Let's hear what they're saying to connect the dots so we come in, we have a foundation to build off.
All right, let's go.
Argue that the project embodies a comprehensive plan to centralize executive power, erode democratic norms, and enforce a far-right agenda on American governance and society. Let's take a look at 5 specific criticisms in more detail. First is the centralization of executive power. One major criticism is that Project 2025 seeks to expand presidential control over the federal bureaucracy. The plan includes reviving the Schedule F classification, which would allow the president to replace thousands of civil service employees with political appointees loyal to the administration. Critics argue this would undermine the nonpartisan nature of the civil service and politicize federal agencies, making them tools of the executive branch rather than independent entities. Second is the attack on democratic institutions. Critics highlight that Project 2025's blueprint includes proposals to dismantle or weaken key democratic institutions. This includes plans to defund the Department of Justice and dismantle the FBI and other agencies that could act as checks on presidential power. Such moves are seen as efforts to undermine the rule of law and enable the executive branch to operate with little oversight or accountability. Third, the project also faces criticism for its potential use of government power to target political opponents and critics. There are fears that it would enable the executive to pursue legal action against political adversaries and critical media outlets, drawing parallels to authoritarian regimes where dissent is suppressed through state mechanisms. The fourth criticism is the social and cultural agenda. Project 2025's policy agenda includes strong positions on social issues, promoting conservative values that critics argue could roll back rights and protections for various groups. The document outlines plans to restrict LGBTQ+ rights, enforce strict anti-abortion measures, and integrate Christian nationalist principles into government policy. This agenda has raised concerns about the erosion of civil liberties and the imposition of a particular religious and ideological framework on the entire nation. Lastly is the environmental and climate policy rollbacks. The project's stance on environmental regulations is contentious. It proposes significant rollbacks of climate policies, which critics argue would have detrimental effects on efforts to combat climate change and protect the environment. This aspect of the plan is seen as catering to business interests at the expense of long-term ecological sustainability. Did you find this video about Project 2025 to be helpful? Remember not to dislike the video, but rather like the video, comment.
So, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
I think it was a great breakdown in the simplest form, which we already know. If we don't know, is a complex situations, 900 pages and what have you. But I like how the key points that they shared, the 5-part breakdown of why people are critical about it. But what I think is the fact that, which you had mentioned earlier about Reagan and what have you, and what they were trying to do since Reagan with the conservative agenda and whatnot. But for me, it speaks volumes. And when they was talking about think tanks and training and what have you, we got to understand the funding that's put in it. A lot of money is being invested behind. I'm talking about millions. You know what I'm saying? And their whole goal is to restructure or reshape the direction of what a lot of people, particularly melanated people, have been fighting for, along with other groups, you know what I'm saying, that have been violated, right? We particularly talk about our people. And for me, a lot of times I think we talk about so many things in our community and so many narratives, so many things that we pushing, but there's things running our nose that we take for granted, that they are die hard behind trying to achieve, while we whine, complain, and do all over top stuff, but still lose focus in reference to what they're doing, right? And what bothers me the most is the fact that we know that as we fought for whatever we was able to achieve, right? Which we know they never gave us anything. They've been trying their hardest to stop it, and to see this extreme movement with Project 25, how people you wouldn't even think, right? People you wouldn't even really like think they would believe in that and get behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the funny part, where it put a lot of black people that support Trump, a lot of black Republicans and what have you, in their positions on this, but it's so deep. So I can't speak from a standpoint that I read the whole document or even got into it super deep. But just from the surface, it's scary, it's sad, and it's something they've been working on for so long, and they're trying to squeeze in there some kind of way, and they definitely play on the emotions of our people, right? And when I say play on the emotions of our people, is the fact, well, I don't say play on the emotions of our people, but with that, that's gonna be putting on the emotions of our people to vote for Biden, right? And I hate when we vote out of fear. I hate when we always reacting and never proactive. That's a whole nother conversation. I'm gonna let you come in, but it's very deep.
Well, you mentioned a lot of the points that Jasmine Crockett, the representative from Texas out of Dallas, I believe, she made a lot of those points that you just brought up. And so I just want to go ahead and play that video before, and then we'll come back on the other side after we take a listen to what she has to say. Hold on one second, y'all. Give me a moment.
You know, Mr. Hamilton, I don't want you to feel left out of this conversation. So I'm going to make sure I ask you some questions. Let me know if you're having problems answering them, because they really should be yes or no. Let's see. You're the executive director for the America First Legal, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And America First Legal is a member of Project 2025, which is dedicated to creating the playbook for the next conservative administration and what it calls the project pillars, correct?
We are proud contributors to Project 2025.
Okay. And are you familiar with Project 2025's mandate for leadership?
In fact, I am.
Okay. And in fact, you wrote some of the sections of this mandate related to the DOJ, correct?
Sure did.
And the mandate outlines policy priorities for the next conservative president. Is that correct?
It does.
You've done a great job. I just want to let you know. All right, so let's walk through some of the provisions of the mandate. It calls for eliminating the Department of Education, eliminating the Department of Commerce, deploying the military for the use of domestic law enforcement against protesters under the Insurrection Act of 1807. It also has the repealing of Schedule F status for thousands of federal employees to allow a president to replace career civil servants with unqualified partisan loyalists. That's probably my favorite of it. It also prohibits the FBI from combating the spread of misinformation and disinformation, like Russia and China, who are actively trying to interfere with American elections. I don't know why or how anybody can support Project 2025. And I know that there was allegedly a joke about dictators and whether or not that's funny, but in the United States of America, dictatorships are never funny. And Project 2025 is giving the playbook for authoritarianism as well as the next dictator to come in. And I know that you are doing your jobs here by making sure that hopefully some juror turns on and finds some viral moment of you spewing more of the nonsense as it relates to the president. But as practicing lawyers or licensed attorneys, I hope that we can all agree that no one gets indicted because someone says so. There takes a grand jury, and the grand jury is comprised of American citizens that sit down and review evidence, and they make the determination. And when and if Trump is convicted, it will be a jury of his peers, and it won't be the president of the United States.
Fan base.
You're on mute.
Yeah. So basically, what she was highlighting is the fact that if Trump gets into office and he's already adopted more than 62% of this plan in his previous administration when he held office, he's going to push forward and insert these policies whereby he gets to pick who's going to work in these jobs called civil service, these civil service jobs. What are those jobs? So that's the people who work at the post office. That's the people who work at the Social Security office. Those are the people who work at the IRS. Those are career jobs that were opened up to African Americans during, I believe, the late 60s, 70s, in order to create what they call or expand the middle class for Black people. So if Trump gets in, he's going to end those tenured career positions for those employees and appoint people, not have application, not have people apply for those positions like normal civil service people have to do. He's going to appoint people to these positions. So what's going to happen? The Black middle class is going to erode. That's the main point which Jasmine Crockett was trying to get across. as far as being a dictatorship. You can't dictate who's going to be in position in these courthouses, who these clerks are going to be, who the, those are positions where you have to apply for those positions. And so, Major, go ahead, take it away.
But that's the video that started my research. That video right there. When I watched that and I see he was attorney, a young attorney, and learning he drafted that. That's not what started digging off that video right there, right? To know more about it. And it kind of it messed me up because it's so blatant, right? I was telling a family member, right? She's a teacher, probably gonna be a principal real soon, right? And we was talking about this today, and I was saying that the issue is not that they're trying to do it, but like Malcolm X said, and I would never forget what he said when he said the North is no different than the South. The North just covert and the South overt. The problem is they're so open with it, right? That's what really just kind of got me baffled. We already know that it is what it is in reference to the racist and discriminatory prices that they do and how they implement it, right? And because of Trump, they real like straightforward. And when you was talking earlier, they was talking about you said that started since Reagan, right? And what hit me was like, well, damn, they were just looking for the right person. And by Trump coming into office at the time, being president and being prior and during president, so blunt, so racist, so whatever, and people don't realize how powerful Trump is and the influence he got. The Me Too movement was so powerful at the time that they was going after every big celebrity or somebody, right? And they were knocking them down. When they got to Trump, they could not touch Trump. You feel me? That's how powerful he was and is right now. And now it's the point whereas they're pushing agenda, they're pushing it, they push agenda more, and they pushing for. See, when you say what they can't do, I question that. I question say they can't do it because they're trying to do it now. You know what I'm saying? Even though say the founding fathers, we we were slaves at the time, but the founding fathers was trying to avoid that when they wrote the Constitution, right? But still, if they was to get the stronghold, it could happen. You know, so if you look at what's happening with the war in over there in Israel, Gaza, excuse me, Gaza, you should see what's going on. They know that Israel got a Israel and Gaza got like a apartheid state. They know this, right? And it exists. You know what I'm saying? So as much as it sounds like it's far fetched and how you was breaking it down, I'm not that mindset. I won't be surprised if it was to eventually be manifest. It was eventually happen. So that's why I think we should have this conversation. Because
Well, they've already packed the Supreme Court with conservative judges, right? So
right,
they rolled back Roe versus Wade, right? They also rolled back affirmative action, right? So now companies are validated by saying, I don't have to hire Black people.
right to hire.
There's no such thing as diversity, equity, and inclusion anymore, right? So this is how it's going to affect your bottom line when you can't get hired at Amazon or your children can't get hired at Popeyes. You know what I'm saying? Like they can basically say, I don't have to hire you. You don't meet you're not qualified, right? That's just like they said that Trump was going to open up a training academy, right? But do y'all remember Trump University and what happened with Trump University? And how he scammed so many people out of their money. He had to repay all those people their money because they were taking their tuition straight off their credit cards, leaving these people in credit card debt to the tunes of thousands of dollars. Anyways, I was invited to join Trump University. That's how I know what's going on with that. So now he's got this other university, well, the Heritage Foundation and 100 and so other corporations that's supporting this Project 25 has this deal where they're going to have a training academy where they're training these politicians, and the key word was so that they have the same ideology. So what's their ideology? And if your ideology do not align with the company's ideology, you will not be hired. So that is why it's very important that we should take a moment. We could take a page out of their playbook and start bringing together all these different organizations that you and I just talked about offline, Major, right? And putting together a think tank amongst those organizations and putting together our own agenda, just like they have their agenda. I'm just saying, we could talk all day long how their agenda is about to affect us, but if we don't have a counter to their agenda, then we all just going to be fall victim to their agenda. We know what's going on. Now the question is, how do we counter their agenda?
I mean, we got to be proactive. As long as we divide it, it's gonna be hard. Like I spoke about think tanks a couple times. I did a whole breakdown on it, right? And I heard other people talk about think tanks, but we just talking. We can't bring people together because you can't make people come together. Like with my little platform, I had a situation with the black militias, right? And behind the scenes, I was trying to bring people together, and there was nothing happened. People won't hear it. And I think I told you about the situation, right? Well, this brother outright said, "I'm not dealing with this person. What have you? This person had history in the movement. You know what I'm saying?" But the big headedness, the narcissism, ego tripping, the attitude that think I know. Like I'm tired of people saying they got the plan, you can't produce it. You can't produce it like you don't have a plan. You have an idea. You know what I'm saying? When you
Right.
have a plan, you're gonna execute that plan. And see, it's hard because before you and I was talking to these people, other people was talking like this. Products that had more steam, what have you, and still didn't get far in the movement. So for me, it's a thing where yeah, we gotta request that, we gotta demand that, but it's so hard when you got so many of us pulling in different directions, and the people don't know what's going on, so they side with whoever, or some of them just sitting on the sideline, but they just tired of all the ridiculous stuff going on.
Well, family, you know, here's the plan right here. They have a plan, policy, agenda, and they even selling it. Like, for real. This is real talk. Buy the book, Mandate for Leadership, or you just click on this link right here. And here it is. Mandate for Leadership, 920 pages. They have a plan for every department in government,
Mm.
for every department in their corporation. They have a plan for. See all those corporations? And I'm saying corporations on purpose because each one of these departments are listed on Dun and Bradstreet as a corporation. Department of Defense, Department of Homeland Security, Department of State, Department of Agriculture, Education. They have a plan for each department. Donald Trump is a businessman. If the United States is a corporation, meaning a business, he is about to turn up. His plan and his agenda, he's about to turn up. After the debate last week, right? What do you think? Is Donald Trump a shoe-in? Is this playbook right here is going to manifest itself right before our eyes? It looks like come November 5th. What do you think?
Um, I'm, I would just say this, right? They, of course, you gotta go through the just go through the legal system or what have you. So I don't know if they're gonna even they're gonna even manifest it. Still gotta go through justice, but I'm contested. But my issue is the fact that we even having a conversation, and I hate when we vote out of fear. I hate when we make moves out of fear. That have to stop. We can't be responding out of fear. We have to prepare and be ready to respond or be proactive about it. But for me, um, I can't really say. I just know it don't look good. If there was to be effective with Project 2025 and Trump went office and everything prevails for them, then that really changed the trajectory of what we thought we should be going, right? And you'll see a lot of melanated people, poor people get messed over. You're gonna see corporate greed at all-time high. you're gonna see a lot of BS. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad because you have people, especially our people, ancestors wise, have been fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting for justice and freedom for equality for our people, and to watch everything get rolled back and just in just one move. You know what I'm saying? In reference to Trump getting office, and well, I'm gonna say several moves. Trump getting office and then push this mandate on everybody and put us in a position whereas it's do or die, and it's been do or die, but this will be extreme because now they can bring back Jim Crow. Now you know what I'm saying. They can say jump. If you don't jump, you dead. You locked up. Whatever. Like when they say the police state, it's already a police state. How extreme they want to get. So it is extremely serious, very very serious. But I can't speak about the future. I can speak about now and looking into the future and seeing if this was the work. Because that president debate was awful. I laughed a couple times at Joe Biden's response in reference to how he was looking. And I know he's old, and I didn't mean to laugh because of, me not respecting him, old man, being older, whatever, elder, what have you. But the look at the fact that this man was forgetting what he was saying, got the point where he have a turn. When you forget his turn, you study, they mama something, thanks to the moderator, they come, okay, president, and they go to Trump. And with Trump with all the line, and then I can't count. I mean, this man must call everybody stupid about 10 times, about 100 times throughout. I mean, just don't, I mean, his choice of words, on top of all the line and stuff, this what they love, this what they want. And see, this where I kind of look at America, and just not white people that support him. Y'all like that? Y'all support that? And it's crazy right now. It's really really crazy what we dealing with, and it's sad to say that just because they don't want to see melanated people get on top, just because they don't want to see a brother, a sister, and black family, a melanated family that have been struggling for so long, get ahead. They have some kind of reaction, and they're extremely upset whenever we're winning, whenever we're doing something big. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I just want to talk about it because I don't know if our community even know how serious this is.
Well, their plan is to make America great again, remember? And this is their mandate. They have a plan as to how they're going to go about doing it. And believe it or not, it's going to affect every aspect of your life, from retirement all the way down to the education of your children. They have a plan for that. They're going to even ban the word slavery. Slavery is going to be banned from curriculum in the Department of Education. So it's a lot of nuances to this agenda. I encourage you all to please read it. You don't have to read all 900 some pages, right? But I do implore you to go through it and pick out the things that you think may pick out the areas that you think may affect you and your family. Everything from, like I say, agriculture, education, Department of Health and Human Services, all of the Department of Justice. You know, we ought to just understand that they're now considering bringing in the military anytime that there's a protest that they deem that they can't control. So these are the things, the issues that we ought to be paying attention to, especially since we have protest rallies planned for different causes, such as police brutality or for reparations. Well, they're going to crack down on all of that. You will go out there and so-called call yourself exercising your First Amendment right to protest, and you're going to go to jail under an administration, a so-called conservative administration. So once again, I want to thank you all for joining us. This is News, Facts, and Comments in conjunction with MajorTV, and we're talking about Project 2025 and how it may affect the Black community. If we don't take our time to read what's in here, you're not going to know how it's going to affect you, and you're going to be caught off guard. and you're not going to be able to prepare yourself or your family, I would suggest that everyone start finding that business thing that you can do on your own outside of having to be working for a corporation, because it's about to get really, really real on the job. They're about to be able to fire you for no reason and replace you with their family members, replace you with their special interest buddies. It's about to be really real for us if we're not paying attention. So I see Patrick said we need less government, not more. Well, basically, Patrick, in this deal here, you're going to have less government. So you may be a fan of Project 2025, but because what they're wanting to do is remove a lot of these governmental agencies and put them all under the thumb of the president. He's going to be able to dictate, all of these cabinet positions and all of the employees that's under these cabinet directors and whatnot. That's basically where we're going. So it's going to be make America white again, basically. Go ahead, Major.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's gonna be hard to read 900 pages, but definitely try to get the gist of what they're saying, because the people are breaking it down, but you should want to know to and what have you. And I'm definitely gonna take a look at it. But for me, it's like we know that, like Cody said, them taking them overturning Roe versus Wade, um they basically stopping affirmative action, um equity, diverse, equity and inclusion and what have you, diversity. We know about that. And what's so sad, you have scholars, black scholars, organizations explaining on the importance of equity and inclusion and diversity in 2024, and we shouldn't have to be doing that. We shouldn't have to be explaining something we should know historically. We have data, we have research to show, you know, that having somebody represent you in political office, in the community, and what they look like you, they can relate to you and what have you in our community with law enforcement, does make a difference. When you have somebody that don't understand your struggle, how I feel to be melanated in the United States, and who we have to deal with every day, you know what I'm saying? We see the reaction of the shootings, the lack of investing in our community by way of putting together programs or whatnot and promoting businesses and what have you. And Trump made it popular and made a lot of people like when he said, "Y'all been voting for Democrats all this time. Look at y'all communities. Look at what's going on in y'all neighborhood." And that right there, it was like the trajectory of where he went from like 5 to 10 in the black. I'm gonna say 2 to 10 in the black community, because it was true what he was saying. But sadly, Republicans haven't done no better neither for us at all. So when we look at it, we're in a position where we're at. I was this is how I was looking at it, right? I broke it down to my people, my family, right? I'm saying it's like we're on a slave plantation, right? We did the same thing, because people understand how crucial slavery was. The same debates we having right now in the debates then. You had melanated people that were on the plantation that then felt like escaping and getting out slavery would be in our best interest. They didn't want to die, what have you. You know what I'm saying? That was a big debate. When you look at it right now, we still having those same debates about what position we should have. The same debates we're having on plantation we having right now between Donald Trump and Biden. It's real. So I'm just saying we understand the effects of slavery, the effects of institutional slavery, effects of racism, and the effects of how we have been put in a very uncomfortable situation from a social, political, economical standpoint. And it's like, and we haven't been able to figure it out to be able to combat it. So we've been trying to choose from two evils, trying to find a lesser evil to try to make things better We know ultimately it never was really about us.
So you mentioned the culture, right? They're saying that they have policies, that they have policies in place for changing the culture of America, whereby they're going to dictate what culture is, what's the American culture, thereby erasing our culture or whitewashing our culture once again. Like, remember the young gentleman in Houston who was suspended for having dreads? They passed the Crown Act, but then another gentleman got suspended again for the same thing, and the Supreme Court of Texas upheld that school suspension.
Mm.
So we're talking about matters like that. That's that's a cultural thing, and it's gonna become the norm for them to say, no, you can't come out of school because you have dreads. You can't apply to this college because you have braids. You can't work at Popeyes because you have dookie plaits. That's where we're going with this. You either going to be Americanized or are you going to be shut out?
Right.
That's where we're at.
And it's sad though, but for a long time we wanted to like part of our community wanted to prove them we wasn't like the other ones. We not like them. We go get their higher learning. We get great achievements. Even the military will be westernized. You know what I'm saying? Her Eurocentric mindset. We get the European education. Then we try to talk down the sisters and brothers in the movement that's trying to correct the brainwashing, the whitewashing of what we learning, right? So we gotta understand, and I try to explain this to on my channel about there was major movements. There was a movement when it came about our history. And Carter G. Wilson, bro, miseducation, the Negro, he was the first person to acknowledge that and call it out, right? That was a big debate, and from that you had a lot of historians that played a pivotal role in trajectory of our history, like Dr. T. Anthony Diop, Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. John G. Jackson, Dr. Chancellor Williams, and so forth, so on, as well as psychology. You know what I'm saying? The white psychology and black psychology, say Eurocentric, Afrocentric, right? You had Naeem Akbar's and them that challenge the way how they try to treat every child the same when melanated children had a different experience than whites, you know what I'm saying? So the diagnosis is different. You had Dr. DeGraw come out with um 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 PS with post traumatic slave syndrome, and she broke that down, but she used post traumatic stress syndrome um, method in treating to determine post traumatic slave syndrome for descendants of former slaves, right? So there's been a big thing of us decolonizing our mind and what have you, and with how we approach our situation, and then correct a lot of wrongs because even today they still pushing the nonsense.
But
And,
you know
and
what, Major? I thought about this. This may be the turning point that our community needs. Because I remember back during the days time of Jim Crow, like that representative said that they took all out of context, but he did say during the time of Jim Crow, black families were together. They were together. I'm not going to say that they were better off back then. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they were together, meaning that the family unit were together. They prayed together. They went to church together. They had family dinners together. We were together as a unit. We were together as a community. We looked out for each other as a community. And I think that when Trump gets in office, which he probably will if he doesn't go to jail, then they're going to introduce this Project 2025. That's going to force us so-called Negroes, African Americans, Aboriginals to come together because we're going to have to, because they're going to shut us out. We're not going to have any other choice but to come together and make the best of what they give us or what they allow us to have. If we do not step up and assert our right to self-determination and declare that we no longer want to be governed by this government and come up with our own government, pledge our allegiance to our own nation and be a nation within the nation. It's not that far. I mean, it's not like it's not obtainable. It's something that people do in countries all the time. But we just have to have the fortitude and the strength to lay up there and say, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And I think it's going to come a time coming real soon when we're going to be forced to make that decision.
I doubt it because we came out of slavery way worse than we are now. We came out of slavery worse than we had all reason to do it then. With Marcus Garvey, it didn't happen. And slavery is more brutal than anything we're going through. They had far less than doing when they're way more better than we got that's so plentiful, right?
Well, I think that the difference is between then and now is that now there's a median. There's a median to get the word out. Back then, you couldn't, tell a slave in Texas that they're going to do a revolt in Florida. How long it's going to take them to get that message so they all do it together collectively. Now that we have what this thing called social media, we can coalesce together in more numbers easily and more efficiently and speedily, more rapidly.
I don't know because back then they got information around good when John Brown and them, the white man and his family with the U.S. government, it got to the slaves and what they was trying to do. Nobody showed up. My point is, it's the heart of the man and woman. They're gonna determine the fight. And if your people don't have the heart, then I don't know if the fight gonna be the fight. Because even back then, after all what they did, tearing down our towns and great neighborhoods and communities, and then we still wanted to go and shop downtown. We still wanted to show we was different from everybody else. So for me, I'm just saying I don't think we putting Trump was just in office. I don't see no unity, and Trump was going hard. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm not gonna say if it happens, it might be a good thing. You know what I'm saying? I do think things gotta happen for a reason, but I don't know because it's already there right now. It seems like the way we responded is extremely slow. In reference to what to do.
Well, all I know is that they have a plan for every department. Every department head has directives based on this plan. And Trump has already embraced 62% of it, and he's going to return to office if we don't do anything about it. So my thing is this: listen, from the looks of it, former President Trump, will be the president of these United States come November if he does not go to jail. My thing is this: it is not cool to say I'm gonna just sit on the couch when you know that you have a brother running for president, and a brother that has articulated that hey, he wants to make America pay the debt owed to the descendants of slaves. He wants to put an end to white supremacy and the white supremacy policies that were already put in place under this mandate of leadership. So I'm saying put up a protest vote. I said I'm going to Major. I'm going to put up a protest vote this time around. Not voting for either of the two of the duopoly. There is other candidates out there other than those two. And I would employ anyone to put up a protest vote for someone other than those two. To waste your vote on a candidate that you know has no chance of winning, that's how you look at it. But I say I'll protest rather than not do anything at all.
Look, I'm not here to endorse no candidate. I'm here to talk about candidates, right? And I'm not here to be on the field mongering thing. It's always been messed up for us. Always. This is no dead and high it's been. The reason why it's looking a bit there because it's so out and open. For me, I just feel like with all what's being said right now with you and I, people still sitting on their couch. People still gonna do what they do because in life I can see a lot of us live a fantasy world in our head, but we don't want to see things for what it is. That's why I always say if you believe in the Most High, you should be blessed and you walk, in the righteous way, and you prepare, you know what I'm saying, for what may come. but you got to do your part in reference to sharing information when you learn it. Each one teach one, and we have to understand that because there may not be nobody we see that we in our community that may be that big difference maker, that person that's about the people, that have the heart, that can walk in and talking, that can show you this how we gotta do it. But right now it's like a lot of our leaders are old and dying. You know, a lot of people that speaking in one breath, next minute they talking another breath. You know what I'm saying? And there's so many missed messages and what have you. So for me, my thing is I always been saying this for years. Like we have to stop being an afterthought people and we have to stop being a before thought people and an afterthought people. We got to think about stuff before it happens. A lot of times we just not proactive, reactionary, and that's not always wise. When you're reactionary, you're making decisions based upon the situation you're looking at, feeling there. So for me, I'm just trying to say that it's something that we have to start taking serious about how to protect the melanated family, how to protect our community, and then how to come forward with a candidate, how to come forward what we want, and not just with words, but also showing our community that we taking care of our community, we invest in our community, we're building our community. Because we're not respected because they're looking at the violence, they're looking at the disconnect, they're looking at how we can figure it out, even though we know they're playing a part in how things are. But at the same time, we can't sit there and talk about a situation that we're not trying to change. So for me, I just feel like it's a situation where we just have to put in the most high hands to do our part. Because whoever you vote for, you don't know how to turn out gonna be on the most high. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
That's right. That's right. You're absolutely right. Like I said, for me, it's a protest vote. Just to say that I'm not rocking with the same old status quo, but I definitely employ again people read some of it, if not the first introduction or the conclusion of the matter, right? Just so you know what they have planned, not to stalk any fear or anything, just so that you know. And knowing is half the battle, like G.I. Joe used to say. You
Right,
know,
right. And I'm loving the conversation. And like you said, just check it out. You don't have to read the whole thing. Try to get the gist of what's going on. Kind of definitely build off the conversation that we're talking about. There's videos out there, and you got those who for and those who are against. Listen to both sides. Find time to become abreast with it because what if this bill become real? This there's a
it's not, but that's just the thing, bro. That's the thing. It's not a bill. It's not nothing that Congress gonna vote on. It
well
is
correction. I meant to say
yeah.
bill the
It's a
plan.
plan that will be put into action when President Trump is elected.
But
This
the
is his
problem
plan. This is his agenda. These are his policies.
I get it, but
Yeah.
but my thing is you got to correct. You got to make sure you understand the gray area with this. They still got to go through the legal system, right? So we still have to see what the conservative justice said about it. So for me, it's like I don't know if they're gonna be because this is in direct. Listen, this is in direct violation of the U.S. Constitution. This is the direction of the 14th Amendment and the 14th Amendment equal protection and due process. So it's in direct violation of that along with other amendments. So they really have to really kill a constitution to get a lot of that passed. Because a lot of what they action, a lot of things their plan is around is most of that is protected by the constitution. So
See, this is the thing. It's kind of hard to sue a corporation for their policies. You can sue a corporation, you can sue the United States government behind an unjust or unlawful law. But the Supreme Court cannot say unless it's violating, you have to be very, very careful violating the 14th Amendment some kind of way or 13th Amendment some kind of way before you can say this policy violates the Constitution. What he's trying to do is change the department heads, like the cabinet, right? And then institute policies that these cabinet members have to institute within the department that's going to govern how these employees are going to be ruled, or policies and procedures and things of that nature. That's what this is about. So it's not necessarily laws, it's policies and procedures that he's going to put in place that's in this mandate for leadership.
But
See,
it's
this
still
is a mandate. This is telling the people that's going to be in power, in position, in these cabinet positions, director of this and this, that, and the third. They have their marching orders. This is how you're going to operate.
But I'm saying I understand that, but even policies fall in law, and it may not be constitutional, but it can be questioned. But the church and state thing with the Christian nationalism, that's going to be constitutional, right?
Yeah.
Church and state step. There are things that are directly deal with the Constitution. The policy part would have, even though it may not be constitutionally mandated under the law. You know what I'm saying? And how you structure corporations and blah blah blah, and how you go might break that down. They like hold up a corporation for years, and they're gonna go deep. They're gonna probably go way to England. You know what I'm saying? And go in 1860 and explain about how a corporation and business should be ran. And then when you talk about a corporation, regardless of how much we say corporation, it's still a government. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna hold the government to certain things, and you gotta understand too. They about to change. They're talking about changing something that's been enacted since 1776 or what have you. You're talking about them changing a long-standing policy. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be hard for the court to say, well, okay, they're right, we're going to give it to them when for years. You know what I'm saying?
But who's going to sue? That's what I'm talking about.
Who's going to sue?
It's going to take a class. Is it going to be a class action suit, or is it going to be former employees? Is it going to be congressmen? Who's going to sue?
Listen, you got a lot of organizations like ACLU. You got the Justice Department can sue, can challenge it. If they call themselves education department or spin education, they can challenge that. So if people gonna sue, it don't have to be no class action.
So you do understand that when the president comes in, he gets a cabinet, right?
Right.
He appoints those people to the cabinet.
Right.
Department of Justice, Department of Education, Department of Agriculture. These are all people that are appointed by the president. So who gonna sue again?
Listen, you're missing the whole point. You're missing first of all, Justice Department gonna cover all that. Justice Department covers all that. That's what the Justice Department is one they're gonna deal with that, right? And then you have the attorney generals and stuff like that. You in the state, what have you. There's no people can sue. This don't have to be no. They don't have to be no private people. It can be with the government fighting against each other. They're gonna result going to the United States Supreme Court. I feel all of it is challengeable. All I believe is all of it is challengeable because of the fact that there's been a long-standing practice how you do business, how you run the government. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that gonna be violating the Constitution. A lot of that gonna bring in question some of these policies. They're gonna fall upon the certain laws and what have you. But well, I don't think in my opinion, it's gonna be an easy slate for Project 2025 myself.
Well, my thing is this: we have a conservative-leaning Supreme Court who's already struck down affirmative action, already struck down Roe v. Wade, and those were considered liberal-leaning policies, right? So, with the conservative court that we have, and by this mandate for leadership being a conservative promise, I'm willing to go with the idea that the Supreme Court is going to lean more towards this mandate for leadership from the conservative side.
All right. Well, you let's keep it 100. Remember Lincoln's predecessor, the president? You know, they kicked him out of office how racist he was. You know that, right?
Right.
So don't think the Congress can't kick the president of the United States. Don't think he got that much power to just do what he want to do.
I didn't say he had that much power to do what he wanted to do. We were talking about the Supreme Court.
Well,
I'm saying that they're conservative leaning, and this is a conservative leaning policy.
Conservative court when they were sort of conservative court when they kicked out the president. You know, after Lincoln, I'm just saying this, right? That conservative stuff don't mean that conservative justices have ruled in cases where you thought they were ruled, but it's like I'm going wrong now. If we going back into the racist days, the Plessy, what have you, that'd be different. I don't think they're that ancient like that. You know what I'm saying?
But well, they just showed you affirmative action.
But still, I don't think that you're not dealing with the 1800s. These when you see how they been going that robe and whatever, You say they're gonna roll. That abortion thing been like this the whole time, bro. Like this the whole.
But then for them to say to have an abortion in the United States is illegal, which is basically what they said, that's very conservative. That's a very conservative.
I'm not saying that.
That's a very pro-life policy, which is a very conservative policy. Most conservative.
You're talking about one thing versus many things. You're talking about.
But now I'm talking about pro-life, and then I'm also talking about affirmative action, which led to a bunch of universities removing their diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, as well as some employees.
So you believe in diversity office? Project 2025 gonna prevail. That's what you're saying?
Oh yeah. Oh yes, sir.
I don't think so.
He's already, but my thing is this: they've already admitted, the Heritage Foundation has already admitted that the Trump administration, in his first year, in his previous term, had already administered 62% of the mandate. More than what President Reagan had administered. President Reagan did more than half. He did 62 or so percent.
But Cole, you gotta remember, this is more vindictive than revengeful than anything. This isn't. You gotta realize this all because of what happened to Trump, what happened to the Republican Party. This is nothing dealing with the fact of what's correcting anything. I'm saying that you think this country gonna lay down and just let that happen. I just can't see it happening.
So I'm just saying I don't know how you know about how tenured employees work, right? So,
I ain't know about tenured. Even with that,
these are the people that he's going to be targeting.
No, I'm saying though, my point is, even with that, they're gonna get major pushback. You're talking about just a permanent person. You let this saying trend gotta be loyal to the to on the far right and blah blah. That's some extreme stuff. So I'm just saying that, in my opinion, I don't want to keep going back and forth. You could take the position you take. I'm gonna take the position I take.
Right.
I'm just saying I'm gonna digress and just leave it like that. I don't see it just prevailing like that.
Right. Okay. So we shall see in come November, I guess come January, because he's
as if he wins.
But and he promised that he's gonna do something different in Ukraine. I heard him say that in the speech, right? He's gonna put the war to Ukraine to an end. So that means that more dollars don't have to go over there, because he said he's gonna stop the war pre inauguration. So we're gonna see how he's gonna work.
I don't believe nothing Trump said. A lot of that stuff. I wouldn't. This wouldn't happen. Come on, you just talking.
Come on, you mean to tell me you wasn't gonna drink the bleach?
Look what I learned as a kid, right? Believe know what you have. Which is not kid. I'm talking about my early 20s. Believe know what you have. What you see. Watch person action. And I've learned a lot just watching the movement and watching people that talk about this, that, that. Just like these presidents and people in general. People talk and produce very little,
Well, that's what it is. It is what it is. Well, family, that's what we have to say about that. Again, I encourage you to browse through it, just skim through it and see what they have in store. Major seems to think that he's not going to be able to follow through with the conservative promise, and I'm of the persuasion that he's already started and he has bold plans to continue on. So thank you so much, family, for tuning in with us. Major, you know the deal. You want to go through the comments in the chat?
Well, I want to thank everybody tuning in. Like, share, comment, subscribe, because we always bring your content on. For me, the conservative thing always been existing. There's always been a thing where they've been compromised with Democrats been compromising with them. So I definitely understand. I just feel like I'm looking at it from a legal standpoint, and they're just being this country. But I could never say it's never. But what I don't do is I don't speak nothing I don't know, and I don't try to put fear in nobody, because whatever's gonna happen. I believe in the Most High, so I don't worry about all that. But so I feel like though we need to know, and need to prepare, and then we need to be more proactive and reactionary. So for me, that's why I don't like to spew the fear, and I don't like to be talking. I know everything, because I don't. But I'm looking outside in it from me being on Earth for half a century. I've seen a lot of things and whatnot. And one thing I know for sure that that what's happening to us, they've been planning on doing that. They've been working towards it. Like me and Corey was talking about prior to the live and what have you. But other than that, I'm cool. I just want to thank you for doing this program, what have you, and we talking about it prior to this, and just basically just trying to build and get the community involved and informed.
Yeah, that's right. This is all about informing the community so that you be in the know, so you don't get caught off guard. Patrick said they've been lying to us about Biden. I've been saying that that's elder abuse, man. That is elder abuse what they're doing to that dude, in my opinion. You know, I have a lot of opinions.
Man, I don't know, be bots out there now. I don't really take a lot of these comments serious. You know what I'm saying? You know, there are a lot of bots. You got people behind the scenes just pushing buttons just to cause.
David Reed's MAGA is Project 2025. I believe that. Yeah, I believe that. So, with that being said, family, you know, it's a pleasure chopping it up with you all, sharing this information with you all. I hope it you were enlightened. Share the video if you think it's worthy, right? If you think that someone, you know, can learn something from this. I hope that it was informative. My opinion is my opinion. And that's all I got to say on that. I think we could really take a page out of their book and start coming up with some plans for our own self-government.
Well, the plans are, you have people like Republic of Africa and what have you, and they have a plan, right? I was talking about that earlier, and they were even talking about how to work with the split thing and what have you. So for me personally, there are things out there. Just people got to become aware of it and become be a part of it and whatnot, you know. So they just gotta just have to follow the different leads. When we talk about it, other people talk about it, to let people know that there are agendas and stuff out there for the community, but they don't have the back of the community like they should.
Right. You're absolutely right. So this has been another News, Facts, and Comments in conjunction with MajorTV production. We thank you for tuning in and on this conversation about Project 2025 and how it affects our community. So if that's it, Major, we're going to tell everyone, of course, we love you with the love of Yahuwah. Take care of yourself and each other. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.
Peace.
One for the money, you know what it is. Two for the show, yeah, we shut it down. Three, just to make sure you ready. Four, let them know that we run this town. One for the money, you know what it is. Two for the show, yeah, we shut it down. Three, just to make sure you ready. Four, let them know that we run. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You are now tuned in to the greatest. The greatest of all time. The greatest of all time. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be better. One for the money, you know what it is. Two for the show, yeah, we shut it down. Three, just to make sure you ready. Four, let them know that we run this town. One for the money, you know what it is. Two for the show, yeah, we shut it down. Three, just to make sure you ready.